All of our information comes from an evidence source. So this source could be a new study that's been released or information from an expert contributor. The new information is crafted into what's typically an update, or in some cases, an entirely new topic. The update or the new topic then undergoes a rigorous multi-tier review process. This means that it's evaluated by the expert author, the section editor who sits over that individual to supervise content, the in-house physician editor, and sometimes even the editor-in-chief of a specialty. This review discussion continues until a consensus is reached that the information is accurate and it's easy to understand. And at that point, then we publish. And the best part is then we do it all over again. We do this an average of 60 general updates a day across the entire program. The end goal is simple. Quality is always our end goal. And by quality, we mean information that is accurate, evidence-based, actionable, and clear. And really, our 30-plus year history of commitment to quality in this way is why clinicians come to us and trust our information. The scientific evidence is what drives the practice of clinical medicine. However, not all evidence is of equal value, and not all scientific studies are well done. GRADE is an external, validated, internationally recognized system for evaluating scientific evidence. We use GRADE as a way to communicate the value of the evidence in all of our treatment statements. The presence of a grade after a treatment statement quickly conveys to the reader, first, the strength of the recommendation. Is it a strong or weak recommendation that they should do this for their patient? And then what is the quality of supporting data? This is represented by then a letter, an A, B, or C, representing high, moderate, or weak quality. We use GRADE to quickly and clearly convey to a reader that the treatment is something that they really should do, or something that they should consider doing and is reasonable amongst many other options. We believe that the use of the GRADE system is important because this is something that improves the transparency of our content. If a reader wants to understand more about the GRADE system, they can just click on the grade itself and we explain what we mean behind it. Another reason it's important to have a clearly explained system for evaluating evidence is because we don't have evidence to answer every single clinical question. Sometimes patients come in and they have a combination of problems that just hasn't been studied in that exact way. In that setting, we still need to make a plan for that patient, and we need to make that plan based on some level of expertise. This is where we turn to our expert contributors. We leverage or use their information that has been gleaned from a career's worth of taking care of patients with these problems, and we base our treatment recommendations on their expertise. We are also very clear that that is where our information is coming from, and again, our use of the GRADE system helps us convey that. I'd be happy to take a moment to explain who our contributors are. Our authors are external content experts. We have over 7,500 authors who contribute to the program that we know is up to date. Section editors are also part of our content experts. These are individuals who manage a group of topics in a specific area. So, for example, one may be a cardiologist writing on a very specific valve problem, and then we may have a section editor who oversees a number of valve-related topics. The value of the section editor is they provide another expert voice, and they help ensure that the clinical questions are being identified and answered. In addition to these two groups, we also have in-house physician experts, like me. We work to nudge the contributors to answer the questions that arise at the point of care in a clear and concise manner, without losing any nuance or meaning. Actually, our experts are global and come from over 55 countries. This is really important because some diseases are more common or present differently in different parts of the world. As one example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Italian physicians first reported new heart complications related to COVID-19 infection. And the author of our content on COVID-related heart disease is based at the University of Padua in Italy. Global contributors are incredibly valuable because not all diseases present in the same way in all geographic locations, and new diseases arise in various parts of the world. As one example, when Zika outbreak hit the country of Brazil, we relied on our Brazilian contributors to help keep us informed as to what they were seeing, how patients were presenting, and what they were doing for treatment and why. COVID-19 was an incredibly challenging time for all of us. At UpToDate, we had the additional challenges of creating actionable treatment content for patients for an infection that we hadn't seen before. From January to August of 2020, 7 months after the first update appeared in our content, we had created and published 42 topics related to COVID-19 infection. These topics address clinical care, patient education, and frequently asked questions. We were able to do this by harnessing the power of our editorial system, including our in-house physician editors and our globally located experts who are watching the information being produced by scientists globally. Nearly 600 updates were made to this content alone during that 8-month period. This content was viewed over 12.4 million times. I'd also like to point out that we made our COVID-19 content available open access to the world. This resulted in 740,000 new users viewing the content during that time period. As with all our content, we continue to develop, refine, update, and cull our information. For example, we have created topics on vaccines, long-term sequelae of this infection, and multiple patient education topics. At the same time, we have gone through our existing content and trimmed areas that are no longer as relevant now that we have a better understanding of the infection and the disease process. You may recall that the arrival of 2021 brought the possibility of new vaccines. Examples of 3 updates addressed whether or not we should be using these vaccines and for whom. First, there was a key study on safety and efficacy of a new mRNA vaccine. A group from Tel Aviv University published on one of the initial reports showing that a single dose safely reduced infection rates in 9,000 healthcare workers. This information was first electronically published on February 18th of 2021. By February 19th, the update had been drafted by our physician editor and was out with the 2 authors and section editor for review and debate. After multiple back and forth discussions, the update was published for global readership on February 22nd. Next, 2 different research groups in Tel Aviv showed that a single dose of vaccine reduced the risk of infection and severe outcomes over a wide population. One day after electronic publication of the data, our authors, section editor, and in-house physician editor had reviewed the data and updated the topic. And lastly, if 1 dose of the vaccine was good, were 2 doses better? Again, multiple research groups working in conjunction with the Ministry of Health in Israel reported that 2 doses of the vaccine were superior to 1 dose across a wide range of population. Within 48 hours, our team had reviewed the data, debated the conclusions, and created an update for our readers.